Next, Charlene Hunter-Galt concludes her series on the origin of the crime.
Paliponania palanjia, kwa hivyo tushikane, umoja ni nguvu, umoja ni nguvu. Sisi wana waikanda Afrika Mashariki, twajivunia sisi umoja wetu, twategemea maendeleo kwa mwendo wa kasi. Umoja ni nguvu na utengano ni udhaifu. Tataka tuwe mfano kwa mataifa mengine. Eneo letu liwe tulivu kisiasa na kiuchumi. Jamii zetu siku za biashara, mipaka ya nchi zetu ifunguliwe kikamilifu. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa usawi. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, palipona nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane, umoja ni nguvu, umoja ni nguvu, yeah.
Tunafaa kujivunia jumuiya yetu, ni jambo nzuri mpaka kwa vizazi vijavyo. Tuko na maono na nia na raia wenye uwezo, tuko na viongozi wenye hekima na busara. Tujipe changamoto ya kufikia maendeleo ya kudumu. Miundombinu za nchi zetu ziundwe kwa hali ya kisasa.
umoja ni nguvu. Viongozi wetu washikane bega kwa bega, na sisi raia tuko nyuma yenu hatua kwa hatua. Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa ustawi. Tuzingatie umoja wetu. Afrika Mashariki, kote ni nyumbani. Wana nia, wana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane. Kujali tujenge kanda yetu. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa ustawi. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane. Umoja ni nguvu, umoja ni nguvu.
Sisi wana waikanda
Afrika Mashariki,
twajivunia sisi umoja wetu, twategemea maendeleo kwa mwendo wa kasi.
Umoja ni nguvu na utengano ni udhaifu. Tataka tuwe mfano kwa mataifa mengine. Eneo letu liwe tulivu kisiasa na kiuchumi.
Jamii zetu zikuze biashara, mipaka ya nchi zetu ifunguliwe kikamilifu.
Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa usawi.
Jumuiya
yetu Afrika Mashariki, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane. Umoja ni nguvu,
Umoja ni
umoja ni nguvu.
Tunafaa kujivunia jumuiya yetu, ni jambo nzuri mpaka kwa vizazi vijavyo. Tuko na maono na nia na raia wenye uwezo, tuko na viongozi wenye hekima na busara. Tujipe changamoto ya kufikia maendeleo ya kudumu. Miundombinu za nchi zetu ziundwe kwa hali ya kisasa. Jamii zetu sasa zikuze biashara, mipaka za nchi zetu zifunguliwe kikamilifu.
Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa ustawi. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane. Umoja ni nguvu, umoja ni nguvu. Viongozi wetu washikane bega kwa bega, na sisi raia tuko nyuma yenu, hatua kwa hatua. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa ustawi. Tuzingatie umoja wetu Afrika Mashariki, wote ni nyumbani, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane. Kujeli tujenge kanda yetu Afrika Mashariki,
Um, get seated. Get seated. Thank you. Honorable Regional Commissioner John Mongela, Honorable Secretary General, Professor Warren from the Acadia University, Professor Kasper from the International ICUA, rather in short, representatives of various agencies, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is time that we start our event because our chief guest is already here, and the Secretary General, of course, with Professor Warren. And before we do anything else, I want to invite our Pastor, Mutasa, to lead us in a word of prayer. Pastor, please.
Let us bow in prayer. Let us bow in prayer. God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit, you deserve the glory, you deserve the honor, you deserve the praise. For you are sovereign and you reign in all affairs of human beings and in all affairs of this world, because the world and the fullness thereof belong to you and the people who live therein. Father, we would like to thank you for this is the day that you've made, even as we relaunch the Nyerere Center for Peace and Research. Father, we commit all the plans underway for this cause, that they will be approved of you. Because when we begin with you, we are assured of perfect completion. We pray for all the stakeholders and partners in this cause, that God will bind them together with cords of love that cannot be broken. Because when we are united, you command your blessings upon us. We pray, Heavenly Father, for all the provisions that we required for this cause. For all the silver and the gold of this land belong to you, and all the people that live therein. Father, we pray for financial resources and human resources, that this organization will flourish and prosper for your honor and glory. Father, we commend this day before you and all the speeches that are going to be made. We commend all the speakers into your hands, that all the speeches that will be made here will be for the honor and glorification of your holy name. Father, I commend the moderators and all of us that will be in one accord. This we pray in Jesus' name, and we thank you. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Pastor. We now have to stand up for the United Republic of Tanzania anthem. Brass band. will remain standing for the East African anthem. Brass band. Thank you. Get seated. Today is a great day. When you mention the name Nyerere, it evokes a lot of memories. He was not only a head of state, but a philosopher. No wonder we associate peace with him. In Africa, 3 names ring out: Nyerere, Kwame Nkrumah, and Mandela. You can't avoid them. Globally, they have had a huge impact on humanity. At this moment, I want to invite the director, social sectors, to come and recognize the guests we have around. Not everyone, time may not allow her. She will only recognize a few. Madam Director.
Honorable Guest of Honor, Honorable Secretary General, distinguished delegates, Your Excellencies, invited guests, all protocol observed, good morning. In the interest of time, I will allow me to read in groups, and for the ones that have not been mentioned, then I will recognize as we go along. Honorable Guest of Honor, today we have representatives from the University of Arcadia and graduate school, American Graduate School, and Ambassador Chelugate. Could you just stand and wave, please? A hand for them. Thank you very much. Honorable guest of honor, we have representatives from Mwalimu Nyerere Foundation, held by Mzee Bujiku, chairman of the Nyerere Foundation. We also have the private secretary to Mwalimu Nyerere, Honorable Samuel Hassan Kasori. We have diplomatic community. Your Excellencies, please, if you can just stand and wave. And we also have development partners. Honorable guest of honor, we have His Lordship Judge President of East African Court of Justice. We also have the son of Mwalimu Nyerere, Honorable Makongoro Mahanga, Regional Commissioner for Manyara District, Manyara Region.
Makongoro Nyerere, not Makongoro Mahanga.
Thank you very much. Makongoro Nyerere. So sorry, Honorable. And then we have heads of institutions. Honorable guest of honor, we have a number of institutions. I will mention the institution and you'll raise, and then you'll both together. We have Inter-University Council of East Africa. This one is in Kampala. We have East African Science and Technology Commission in Steko. This one is in the Republic of Rwanda. We have East African Health Research Commission. This is in Burundi, Republic of Burundi. We have Lake Victoria Basin Commission based in Kisumu, Republic of Kenya. Thank you. We have Lake Victoria Fisheries Organization based in Jinja, Republic of Uganda. We have East African Kiswahili Commission based in Zanzibar, United Republic of Tanzania. We have East African Competition Authority based here in Arusha. Thank you. We have CASOA. East African Development Bank is it representative. Honorable guest of honor, we have defense liaison officers from 7 partner states. For the ones who are available here, please. Thank you very much. We have religious leaders. Some of them we've heard about them. Can just wave. Honorable guest of honor, we have EAC directors. We have deputy registrar. Can wave. We have the clerk of the assembly. We have members of staff, EAC. We also have representatives from partner states, including senior officials. We have representatives from private sector. Wherever you are, you can wave. Thank you. We have representatives of civil society organizations. Honorable guest of honor, we have 14 vice chancellors of various universities from East Africa. Thank you. We have the ones from Dar es Salaam. We have the ones from Makumira, Dodoma. We also have the ones from Makerere University, Kampala, University of Nairobi, Strathmore in Republic of Kenya, University of Juba. We have Catholic University of South Sudan. We have University of Rwanda, and we have East Africa University in Rwanda as well. And we have University of Burundi and Hope Africa University in the Republic of Burundi. Wherever you are, or you can just wave because of the interest of time. We have students from academic institutions from Nelson Mandela Institute of Accountancy, Arusha, Arusha Technical College, and Makumira. All of you can just wave, the guest of honor. And we have organizing committee, wherever you are, because they are busy, some of them are outside. Professor can wave on behalf of them. I've just received one honorable guest of honor. We have Honorable David, former Minister of Trade, Republic of Kenya, and a friend of EAC. For the ones that I have not mentioned, you are close to my heart. It's just happened that I've skipped your name, but I'll keep on recognize your presence. Thank you, Honorable Chief Guest.
Thank you very much, Madam Director. Now, we want to go to the next level, but before that, I want to inform you that we are live. What is happening here is already on YouTube. You can tell your friends wherever they are, they go to YouTube, type East African Community, they will see what is happening now. Allow me again to mention some change, because I see you are reading the program very seriously. There's some changes. So that when the chief guest stands up, you don't start saying is the chairman of the Council of Ministers. A change has happened. The chief guest is the regional commissioner for this area where we are. Okay? John Mongela. So when he comes on the floor, you know he is the chief guest. A few changes again. We will receive remarks by the president of the Acadia University on the screens before Warren speaks. So when I reach there and I call for Acadia University, it will be the president who will come in live on the screen. Recorded, yes. Oh, it's not live, it's recorded. Yeah, so we'll start with the president, it's recorded, and then Prof. Warren will come to make his remarks. You know, when I was talking about Nyerere, I didn't know that the sun is here. So I'm very much close to Nyerere through the sun, you see. The other thing I should mention now before I forget, you know, age is catching up with me, is that we have got an exhibition outside here. Very good quality products from our small business people, African products, and I will really invite you to buy something and go back with it. Presents to your people back where you came from. I now want to invite the secretary to Mwalimu Nyerere Foundation, Mr. Joseph Butiku, to come and make his remarks. Butiku, please. Thank you very much. Yeah. Good. Njema. Karibu. Asante. Karibu.
Asante sana mwezeshaji. Guest of honor, Honorable Mongela, the Excellency Secretary General of the East African Community, Peter Msuki, Honorable Ministers present here, ndugu yangu Makongoro, Charles, Distinguished Professor Warren, Sage Nicholas from America, invited guests, gentlemen. 2 days ago, I was asked to come here and make a brief remarks. And when you come and talk about a research center bearing Mwalimu's name, it becomes very difficult to make brief remarks, but I'm going to try. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of Mwalimu Nyerere Foundation, because that's where I come from as chairman, and I must say, maybe let me tell you that I was also executive director there for 25 years, having also served as a private secretary to Mwalimu for 21 years, 1965 to 1985. I know a little bit about Mwalimu. But let me say something about the foundation from which I come. It was established in June 1996 with the full support of Mwalimu himself to work for peace, unity, and people-centered development. When a few of us in his office were trying to work with him to establish this foundation, we wrote long, long papers. After a few weeks, he called some of us to say, these papers are fine, but they are too long. I'm going to tell you what I feel the foundation should be saying about itself. Say, when you see all that we're trying to do in this world, thinking, doing, talking, organizing, we really want three things. We want peace. Who doesn't want peace? Anybody in this room doesn't want peace? No. We want unity because nobody wants to live in isolation. But we want also development, to do things ourselves, the results of which are useful to ourselves and to others. There's people-centered development. Whatever you do is useful to yourself and is also useful to others. Those three words make up the foundation, the main purpose or the main object of the foundation. Peace, unity, and people-centered development. And from there, what did he say? Again, how do you get those three? How do you get those three? Again, if you accept a few things. First, you accept that people are equal. Human beings are equal in their humanity. I'm human, you are human. We're all here human beings. So we are equal in our humanity. That's one. Number two, you also try to accept and live. To accept that people who are equal in their humanity, they also deserve to be treated equally in human rights. We all deserve our human rights. Respect, recognition, needs, and the rest of it. Number three, we have to conduct our affairs democratically with the opportunity to live together in unity as equals, but also the opportunity to discuss together about the affairs, about our welfare, about our needs, and about our fears, expectations, and aspirations. That's democracy, simply stated. And last, that we must all accept to work. We have to work. To earn a living, you have to work. And if you have to work, you have to access. You have access to working conditions. Accept things, important things like land. And land must not and cannot belong to only few when it's such an important resource for all. Then you could say, briefly, that is Nyerere. And that is the basis of the peace of the country, or in the country you see today. He gave those three words a word, an African word, which summarizes all that. One word. Ujamaa. We are one. We are a group. We are a society. And he believed that humanity is one, indivisible, and that if we work together on the basis of what I've said, then we'll have peace. And whatever research we conduct, however many books we write and research papers, if we ignore those three or those four, according to Nyerere, you not have peace. And that's one last thing I wanted to say about him. What is the starting point? He went on, I think as a researcher himself, to his traditional African family. Traditional African small family. And you say, if you look at your family, you will find all the conditions of peace. Your family, you find there are people there. Young, old, children, they are people, not animals. They all deserve respect in that family. And they all deserve essentials of life: food, shelter, clothing. And they all deserve human rights, freedom. All the freedoms you can talk about. In that small family, be it an African, a European, or Asian, when those conditions are observed, then you'll get peace. And that's the basis of the Tanzanian peace. It's very, very difficult to live by those conditions. But if you make an effort, as Nyerere did, and I think as Tanzanians are trying to do, and Makongo, then we'll get peace. The foundation he founded is based on that peace. And it is on those principles, that, Mr. Secretary General, that we commit ourselves to work with this center to conduct, and the others from America and elsewhere, to work for peace, not only in Tanzania, but Africa and the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Mzee Budiku. Asante sana kwa huo hotuba. Tumefurahia. I think now you are wondering, I'm just thanking him for, for the remarks. Honorable Chief Guest, through the SG, it is an opportune moment that the son of Nyerere is in this room. And we can't lose the opportunity of inviting him to come and say something. Mr. Makongoro Nyerere. Honorable.
Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. I feel so lucky today. I feel so lucky. I used to work in this institution as a member of the East African Legislative Assembly. I miss the place. Unfortunately, places don't miss people. I miss those who I worked with here from all the countries of East Africa. Then it was just 5 member states. Now I hear there are more. I miss my friend, the Secretary General, Honorable Mathuki. I miss you. And I think you miss me too. We were together in the East African Legislative Assembly. I from Tanzania, representing, and him representing Kenya. I am not sure about Honorable Mathuki, but it is allowed to run for a second term. I went to run for the second term, and the other way of saying that I failed is that I did not get enough votes. I think he did the same. However, his country brought him back to the same institution as Secretary General. My country did not. Now, being a friend of the Secretary General, I believe he missed me, and he's one of the people who thought that today I should come here. Yes. I know there could be a few surprises, personal surprises, between us after this. I am lucky because I was a little bit late. And if it was intended, I think the guest of honor was supposed to be the Vice President. Now, why am I lucky? You do not come late when the Vice President is the guest of honor and your original commissioner. I am lucky because the guest of honor is a fellow regional commissioner who likes me. I'm not likely to go into his notebook for being late. And at the same time, Mr. John Mongela, the original commissioner of Arusha, he borders me on my north side. I'm on the south side of his region. But he is also the chairman of all regional commissioners. In Tanzania, to become the chairman of regional commissioners, you have to have served more than all the others. Yeah. Say if you serve as a regional commissioner for 1 year, if that was equivalent to 10 kilometers, then I've done 20 kilometers, 2 years. He's coming to 150. So he's very experienced and he likes us. He's a good leader to all of us. And this is why I'm lucky again. I'm lucky again because I happen to be the son of Julius Nyerere. When you have a parent whom after passing away, a lot of who are left behind feel that he was a good man, my friend, you are lucky. But when you have a parent whom after passing away, a lot of people do not think he was a good man, and they wanted to do something bad to this parent of yours. He's not around and you are around. And they think maybe that if they do something to you, it would satisfy them. Then, my friend, you are very, very unlucky. You start saying, you know, it is the sins of the parents. Yeah, but he's not around and maybe you could do. Now then you are very, very unlucky. After apologizing, again I feel lucky. I knew I was not supposed to speak, so I did not prepare a written speech. For that I apologize, and I believe my apology is accepted. I reflect that the good thing about not having a written speech, the good part of it, is that you can say something. The bad part of it is that you cannot say anything. Is this better? Thank you. Very lucky. Today I'm very lucky. I was saying that the good thing about it is that you can say something. And the bad part is that you cannot say anything. Now let me say something a little bit about Julius Nyerere. Again, I'm lucky. Because there is a saying in Kiswahili that says, kinyozi hajinyoi. A rough translation of it is that the barber does not do his own hair. Some other barber should do the hair of this barber. It is not normal. It is not easy. It is not better to talk of your family. It is easier if somebody else could talk of your family than you do it. And on this aspect, I'm very lucky. When Nyerere has to be talked about, my brother Butiku and his team from the Mwalimu Nyerere Foundation, they're always there. They do the talking, and then I do so little. I just have to say, yes, this is how Julius Nyerere was. So lucky today, I can't believe it. So what Mzee Butiku, the chairman of Mwalimu Nyerere Foundation, said, yeah, that's it, that's Julius Nyerere. I should only recall Julius Nyerere shortly, as a father, as a family man. Oh, he was so good as a family man. If you want counsel, he was so good. If you want to commit crimes against humanity, he was so bad. If you want to get rich so quickly, he wasn't very good. But to humanity, always, I remember him, to humanity. He was always thinking about humanity, how to better humanity. What could he do and what could we all do to better humanity? The laws had to be good. Freedom, democracy, health, education, unity. These were always in the lips and minds of Julius Nyerere. He did all he could, but we can't do everything in our lifetime. Somebody else has to come and do it. And lucky enough, to me, a lot of people feel that way. And today I am honored that we are launching the Nyerere Center for Peace Research. And Mwalimu Nyerere has a big family, and we are still alive. But fortunately for me, today, the Secretary General knows only me. So I got lucky, I'm here, but I believe I'm also representing my mother who is still alive, and my family, and the rest who feel like Nyerere was the father of this nation. There was a joke at one time when Mwalimu Nyerere passed away. Before him, of course, was President Kenyatta of Kenya. So somebody was giving a joke that, okay, Mwalimu is in heaven, and there he found President Kenyatta. And there was also our passed away, younger to Mwalimu, but was also our Prime Minister, Edward Sokoine. So the joke goes that at some point, President Kenyatta was called to have a word with God. He came out with a luxury car, very luxury car. Then Sokoine was also called in to have a word with God, our Prime Minister, our late Prime Minister. He was younger than Mwalimu when he passed away. He came out with a bicycle. And then Mwalimu also got the chance and went and heard a word with God and came out with nothing. So they asked him, Mwalimu Nyerere, what happened? He said, oh, we all couldn't get through to see God. But there was what do you call, Malaika? An angel. There was an angel there. You had to answer a few questions if you're okay to see God. And it seems the question was only one to this angel. Jomo Kenyatta, how many wives do you have? Jomo Kenyatta answered one. And there was another question that may not have given the opportunity for Jomo Kenyatta to see God, but the angel was satisfied that Jomo Kenyatta could come out with a luxury car. Then came in our Prime Minister, the late Prime Minister. The question was the same here too. So the angel wasn't satisfied, but gave the Prime Minister a bicycle. Then came Mwalimu. The angel saw him, and there was another one who went before him called Rashidi Kawawa. And Rashidi Kawawa was there. No. He was called, I'm not quite sure, I will remember. But then he had told him that Mwalimu is the father of a nation. So when he went there, he said, oh, Mwalimu Nyerere, father of the nation. Oh, I'm sorry. Please just go back. So he came out with nothing. But anyway, this is just a joke. I'm here to represent him. Mwalimu Nyerere impresses me more after he passed away because I have been to quite a number of countries in Southern Africa, and I have been to the headquarters of the OAU just to do the same. I mean, he did it all. He's not around, but I'm still around. And thank you for inviting me for what he did, which I did not do, but I'm here, so lucky. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Asante sana. Asante sana. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Makongoro. Talking also more so as the son of Nyerere. I want now to invite Professor Caspar Panyangimbona to come and make his remarks, the head of the Inter-University Council for East Africa. Welcome, Professor.
our chief guest, Honorable John Mongela, Honorable Secretary General, Dr. Peter Matuki, the chairman of the Nyerere Foundation, Honorable Makongoro Nyerere, the Right Honorable Judge President Nestor Kayobera, Honorable delegates and dignitaries from partner states, representative of diplomatic corps here present, colleagues, heads of institution, East African community, directors of various sectors, the East African Community Secretariat, vice chancellors here present, representative of Arcadia, Professor Warren, representative of the American School, Graduate School, Paris, East African community staff, media, fraternity, dear students, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. I have to say that I'm lucky too today. It's my great honor, and I feel very humbled to appear before you today and have an opportunity to speak on this auspicious occasion, the relaunch of the research center named after this big African name, Mwalimu Julius Nyerere. Let me explain a bit what is Inter-University Council for East Africa and why we come in today. Inter-University Council for East Africa is one of the institutions of the East African community, as it was identified today, whose mandate is to advise, develop, and coordinate all matters related to higher education and university research in the region. So as Inter-University Council for East Africa, we strongly associate and identify ourselves with this initiative, which is very much in line with our mandate. In many ways, the aspiration of research and the peace research is well aligned to our aspiration as an institution of the East African community. This is not an unsubstantiated narrative, but it is clearly marked in our policy guiding documents, and it is in our strategic plan, and it is even in our ongoing activities. I can give one example. We have set for the next financial year to create a think tank for a number of topics, including agriculture, including climate change, and we also ventured in peace and security. So that is where our collaboration with the center will come in. Our chief guest, research continues to play a key role in the regional and global development agenda. Research does not only provide useful information for decision-making process, but is an appropriate avenue for indigenous inbuilt solution for our own problems. Through training and research, we are able to invent, we are able to innovate, we are able to co-create ideas and make them a reality. As we continue to face a number of really challenges in the region, like refugee problems, which is there, which is a reality, human and arms trafficking, it is also known to be around, religious extremism, and so on. We need to research more into finding social and economic solutions to some of these problems if not all of them. We are confident that the Nyerere Center for Peace Research will help strengthen institutionalized capacity in the region, provide a bedrock for growth, and a home for a think tank in peace and security to thrive. The Interuniversity Council for East Africa is committed to partner with Arcadia University and the American Graduate School in Paris. We are also ready to mobilize universities in the region to be entirely part and support the Nyerere Center for Peace Research. With a pool of member universities currently standing at 137, awaiting for more to join from Congo, IUCEA will be willing to provide a wealth of an avenue for experience and knowledge sharing through the partnership that would have been forged through the Nyerere Center for Peace Research to develop homegrown solutions to our peace-related problems. As I conclude, I wish on behalf of the university community in East African community, I wish to congratulate the partners in making this initiative a reality and looking forward to closely working with the center in promoting research in our higher education institutions and provide solution to our regional problems. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Professor. And we can see how in the University Council will work with our partners at the Nyerere Center. That is quite a positive thing. At this stage, allow me to request Kasori, the private secretary to Julius Nyerere, just to wave and greet our guests. Please, simama tu wasalimie. Private Secretary to Nyerere. He was there when Muse passed away, when the president passed away. Thank you very much, Muse Kasori. I want now to invite Ambassador Jalukat, former DSG at the EAC. He has some history about the center. Ambassador, please. Welcome.
Chief guest, Regional Commissioner, Secretary General, Dr. Mathuki, the representatives of Arcadia University and AGS, Honorable Makongora Nyerere. I also feel very lucky. Yeah, and I'm lucky. I'll tell you why. I'm lucky because I met Mwalimu Nyerere way back in 1994 in India. That was the first time I met him in person. And I was also lucky because I managed to visit your home in Butiama and met your mother, who welcomed us. I was then with the Secretary General of the EAC. I was the Deputy Secretary General at that time. And we had a cup of tea in your home and sat in your residence. And when you visit that place, the spirit of Nyerere catches you. So when I met Dr. Warren some years back, 2004 or so, he was looking for an opportunity to establish a Center for Peace. At that time, I had come back from working for IGAD on peace issues. And I told him, something just told me this was a great idea. At that time, we had offices in the other wing. This place was an empty space. That's also another story that Secretary General, I'll tell you one day, that Honorable Mushega and I traveled to Cologne in West Germany to get the funding that made this building the reality. So when we come back and see, when Warren yesterday came to see it, he was shocked to see this beautiful building. But the luck that I'm talking about is about the idea of the Nyerere Center. So it was me and Warren at that time. We walked over to this building over there. At that time, there was it was falling apart. There was a lot of rain going through the roof. And I told him, I think this is the place. We can have a peace center. Later on, we realized that we were in a very sacred ground. This was a state house, a state lodge, where President Nyerere hosted many meetings, and the colonial government before that. And therefore, it was only natural. The name that came to our mind was to call it the Nyerere Center for Peace Research. And that is simply how this idea came about. So when I told my Secretary General, Amanya Mushega, about it, he was very excited. We took the idea to the Council of Ministers. Everybody was very excited. Now, the story of the relaunch, very briefly, is when, again, after many years, I met Dr. Warren in the United States. And he was asking me about the center, and I was saying, but I don't know what has happened, but I know there is a new Secretary General, and I called him from the United States, and I told him, oh, by the way, have you seen the building in front of your office? The Nyerere Center. He said, yes. Then I said, what happened to it? And during the last 1 year or so, we have had weekly meetings with him, which has culminated in the launch today. So that is why when you are here and I see you, and we are talking about the person that is really dear to our earth, and you are representing him, and you are here, how lucky can one be? So I wanted to say that I think the idea of peace and security is something also the Secretary General has taken to his heart. And he has just come back from Burundi, where he had the summit about peace in the region. And honestly, without peace in our region, we cannot achieve all the aspirations of the community. During my time, we wanted this community to be one country. We tried to fast-track integration, but there are things that pull us back. One of them is peace. So I'm very sure, with the support of the Secretary General and our partners, we are going to honor the aspirations of Mwalimu Nyerere by relaunching the center today. So I thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to say those few words.
Thank you. Thank you. I think Ambassador is lucky to have associated himself with the Nyerere Center from the beginning, and is still alive. He is associating with him again, round 2. A clap for Ambassador. At this juncture, I want to invite the Director, Social Sectors again. You know, the SG has got a lot of friends, and he has invited a lot of friends. And if they are not mentioned, they would wonder, we came all the way. So again, I invite Director, Social Services to recognize some of the directors.
Thank you, Program Coordinator. Honorable Guest of Honor, through my Secretary General, I apologize, but I'm happy to recognize that we have Ambassador Leonidas Bakenga, Republic of Burundi Liaison Office. Thank you. We have Ambassador Amena Chenzie, Deputy Program Director, USAID. Please wait. We have Ambassador Fiana, Head of Office of the President, United Nations International Residual Tribunal. We have Ambassador Anne Kantusime, Head, EAC Uganda Liaison Office. Welcome. We have Ambassador Dennis Mburu, Consulate General, Republic of Kenya. Welcome, sir. We have Dr. Sifun Chief Moyo, Secretary General, Pan-African Postal Union. We have Dr. Makena Mobobia, Executive Director, MSTCDC, Program for Development Cooperation. Karibu sana. And we also recognize media houses here present. Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you. Thank you. You can see what I was saying. At this point now, we need to at least reflect on things through a poem. Now I invite Muinda Ali to come and give us a poem. Muinda, please. And here. We have speeches, they are going on, but now let us have a poem.
Good morning, my elders. All protocols observed. My name is Muinda Ali from Nalia International School, Uganda. I'm going to pass on a message through my poem entitled, Where There is Peace, There is Strength to Live. A world in harmony, a place to be free, a future of unity, and now that is peace. Where hearts are open wide, peace we shall abide. Where justice prevails, love can never fail, for peace conveys strength to live. No more division, no more hate, no more segregation, no more debate, for all will work with one accord to make life that is adored. We strive for something greater, where all are elevated together and every voice speaks with dignity and finds equality to reach equity. A dream of understanding and beauty, a vision of freedom and unity, a place where democracy doeth grace and allows room to correct mistakes. For where there is peace, there is strength to live. Muinda Ali are my names. Thank you so much.
Thank you. If we start having young people thinking this way, we will have peace. Thank you. We now come to listen to our partners, and we were supposed to have the American Graduate School present, but I understand Professor Warren will take care of that for the Acadia University. But to start with is the recorded remarks by the President. The technical people, please can you give us the recorded remarks by President of Acadia University? Please.
To Secretary General Dr. Peter Mathuki, dignitaries, faculty, staff, students, and friends of the East African community, greetings from Arcadia University. We are honored and the reconnection of our international partnership expands over a decade. Since our founding in 1853, Arcadia has been a pioneering institution offering innovative academics and international experiences that inspire students to venture beyond the classroom to gain a global mindset and become lifelong learners. As a U.S. leader in international education for over 70 years, our global mission adds another element of serendipity to our connection, to provide opportunities for the intellectually curious in preparation for a life of scholarship, service, and professional contribution. Our highly regarded values-based learning community reflects the world in which we want to live. We are proud to partner in the power of social justice, where peace and security enhance regional integration and development. Congratulations on this very special day.
Hamujambo wana Afrika Mashariki wenzangu. It is a joy to celebrate the reopening of the Nyerere Center, the partnership between the EAC and Arcadia. As Julius Nyerere said in Uhuru na Maendeleo, Freedom and Development, published in 1973, quote, "We can try to cut ourselves from our fellows on the basis of the education we have had. We can try to carve out for ourselves an unfair share of the wealth of the society. But the cost to us, as well as to our fellow citizens, will be very high. It will be high not only in terms of satisfactions foregone, but also in terms of our own security and well-being," end quote. It is with this spirit that we commit to collaborations for advancing peace education, human security, and regional integration through programs and fellowships in mediation and conflict resolution, thereby contributing to the mission of the EAC. Together, we are continuing the vital work of Julius Nyerere through this Center for Peace Research. Thank you.
There are no perfect diplomats. There are no perfect communicators. What I learned was that, it's a lot of really passionate people who want to do good and want to address the different issues that, plague our world. And it's our job to kind of sort out, and communicate as best we can the needs of who we're advocating for. So I did an internship in Chiang Mai, Thailand. I was there and I studied under a program manager for a nonprofit. I got to see firsthand what it means to work in a community with the members of that community, and what it means to have them engage and have them provide the feedback necessary to make a program successful. It was absolutely worthwhile, that experience. It opened me up to a new way of thinking. It opened me up to understanding and seeing the world through other people's eyes. It gave me the tools to be able to say, I may not know you, I may not know your name, I may not know exactly where you come from or what your experience has been, but there are enough things in common between us for us to be productive together.
Thank you on behalf of the Arcadia University community. We are honored to celebrate the significance of this partnership between Arcadia's International Peace and Conflict Resolution Program, the American Graduate School in Paris, and the East African community. The reopening of the Nyerere Center expands our commitment to inclusive and accessible peace research, and it affirms the alignment of our respective missions as we seek to educate others, generate actionable knowledge, and make a difference in our local, national, and global communities. The possibilities going forward are exciting, including options for in-person work at the center, also here at Arcadia and in Paris. And the door is also open for more work online, which should open many options for people all around the world. And through all of those modalities and locations, our growing network can provide experiential learning and fieldwork opportunities for the benefit of all. Again, thank you for staying committed to this vitally important work, and congratulations on this very special day.
I now invite Professor Warren to come and make his remarks. Prof.
Good morning. Is this working? Hello? Ah, there we go. Good morning. It's intermittent. Okay, thank you. Okay, if this works, I truly am lucky. Okay. Good morning again. It is a pleasure to be here. Honored guests, diplomats, and Mr. Secretary General. Good morning to you all. It's an honor to be here. And on behalf of the president of Arcadia University and the provost, the faculty, and my colleagues here in the audience, we extend a warm welcome. We are so honored to be here. As Ambassador Cheligat mentioned yesterday when I toured the center after a little over 10 years, I was really moved to tears. The effort and the communion that has come together to make this a reality, to make it an impactful reality, is truly special. It's heartening, because it was all these many years ago that we sat around in an office all the way back in Philadelphia, and we were contemplating what we could do to be impactful for peace. We're an educational institution. Our job is to train and educate and learn from our students about how to make the world a better place. This Nyerere Center is the seed that was planted, and it is wonderful to see it grow so well. The opening of the Nyerere Center, the reopening of the Nyerere Center, is of particular importance in this moment of our common history. And I underscore the word common, because we have many of the same problems in the United States, with inequality and exclusion and sidelining those who need a voice. And our democracy is incomplete until we learn about equality. Julius Nyerere offers us the path forward. The center reaffirms the importance of peace building as the best tool to achieve this task. This, despite the mountain of evidence of the damage and destruction, an upheaval that comes when dialogue is replaced by war as the favored solution to our problems. It leads to the destruction of us all. Today, we relaunched the Nyerere Center for Peace Research, first opened in 2006 through this incredible partnership between the EAC, Arcadia University, and the American Graduate School for International Relations and Diplomacy. It is a shared commitment to the power of education in building the capacity for peace as the foundation upon which further capacity in sustainable peace is secured. Today, we commit to this unique and internationally sweeping collaboration. It puts students and scholars and practitioners together in support of the EAC vision for a peaceful and prosperous Africa. The center provides the intellectual and physical infrastructure to contribute to this critically necessary goal and builds the capacity for the next generation to utilize the tools of peace over warfare. The EAC is a fitting home for the Nyerere Center for Peace. There is brilliance here. It's one of the reasons I love coming back. As a professor, I get to learn. There is truly brilliance here. The mission of the EAC is to foster the political, socioeconomic, and cultural integration of the member states, to spur regional development, and to secure sustainable peace. Under the leadership of the Honorable Secretary General, Dr. Mathuki, the EAC is at the vanguard of this effort. The emphasis on education, connecting theory and practice in education, is very much in keeping with the center's namesake, Julius Nyerere. Tanzania's first president and one of America's most respected, one of Africa's, we wish we had a leader like this in America, we really do. Tanzania's first president and one of Africa's most respected leaders and intellectuals. Julius Nyerere's life's work was in promoting unity and solidarity of African states, to spur economic development, and to promote international cooperation and peace. Capacity through education was a hallmark of Julius Nyerere's strategy in addressing the systemic problems that block progress toward peace and regional development. This kind of immersive, impactful learning is also a hallmark of Arcadia University, where our tradition of impactful global programming that places students at the center goes well in preparation for a life of productive public service. The Nyerere Center applies this vision, and it does so in a region of the world that is all too often overlooked by the United States and others in the West. As director of the International Peace and Conflict Resolution Program, for over 20 years, I have seen firsthand the impact that education can do. I've seen my students blossom into practitioners to carry on a peaceful message and to impact meaningful change. Many of our graduate students are in places of power and influence, and they are the seeds of peace that have grown into a small forest. Just like the tree that was planted in the first ceremony for the Nyerere Center in 2007, it has grown big. The bringing together students from around the world, together with students from EAC member states in support of the EAC mandate for sustainable peace, is a powerful and impactful formula. I've seen it firsthand, and this help will ultimately deliver us from conflict and war. The Nyerere Center is a collaborative investment in the next generation of leaders in our common future. A future that will hopefully push conflict and war to the sidelines of our human experience. Now I think, if we can pull it off, we do have the president of the American Graduate School for International Relations and Diplomacy, who shares our partnership and has a video message. IT people.
Monsieur le secrétaire général, dear Peter, Monsieur l'ambassadeur chez Luget, dear Kip, Dr Afar, dear Warren, et tous les amis et partenaires rassemblés aujourd'hui pour l'inauguration du Nyerere Center for Peace Research. C'est toujours un plaisir et un honneur pour moi que d'avoir l'opportunité de me joindre à vous toutes et vous tous depuis Paris, grâce à la magie, bien évidemment, de la vidéo. Nous sommes partenaires d'Arcadia University depuis plus de 17 ans maintenant. Les valeurs sur lesquelles ce partenariat est fondé depuis son début sont des valeurs d'excellence académique, de vision internationale et surtout d'une attention personnalisée à chacun des étudiants que nous formons. Ces valeurs continuent bien évidemment de porter notre partenariat aujourd'hui. Ce sont ces mêmes valeurs qui nous donnent un rôle à jouer dans le cadre du Nyerere Center for Peace Research, auprès d'Arcadia University, mais également de la communauté d'Afrique de l'Est. Et c'est toujours, je le répète, un honneur de travailler avec de tels partenaires prestigieux et un bel exemple de complémentarité et de synergie. Notre contribution dans le cadre de ce projet doit permettre au centre de bénéficier de l'expertise d'AGS in Paris en termes d'enseignement, mais également en termes de ressources propres à Paris, auxquelles nous avons bien évidemment un accès privilégié. Notre structure nous permet d'être flexibles, très réactifs et de proposer des programmes sur mesure, pouvant être enseignés à Paris ou à Arusha, ou une combinaison des deux, bien évidemment. Nous souhaitons ainsi pouvoir répondre au plus près aux objectifs de la formation et de capacity building des différents pays membres de la communauté d'Afrique de l'Est et de la communauté elle-même. Ce projet est, pour American Graduate School in Paris, une formidable opportunité de mettre en œuvre la devise qui nous porte depuis plus de 30 ans. Peace through education. Je vous remercie très sincèrement de nous y avoir associés et je me réjouis d'aborder les prochaines étapes avec vous toutes et vous tous. Je vous remercie et je vous souhaite une très belle journée. À bientôt. À Arusha.
Conclude by just saying peace is not passive. It takes active engagement, and as a professor who is committed to the classroom, we need to connect our theories to practice. Our conversation from the other night, peace of all the disciplines, of all the fields, needs to be applied. And working with students, the new generation coming forward, this is how we make peace sustainable. This is how we move closer to the world that Julius Nyerere envisioned. I'm honored to be here. I am also terribly humbled and lucky. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor. I think today there are so many people who are lucky. After Professor has spoken about impactful, now let me give a testimony. My son passed through the Nyerere Center. And the way he does things, it's completely different. At a young age, he became the reporter in the nation media and East African newspaper on peace and leadership in Africa. I didn't know where he gathered the knowledge and the skills. Now I know. He's still in the realm of politics. He works at the US Embassy as a political analyst. So the learning at Nyerere Center is impactful. I bear witness. At this stage, I want us now to listen to Nyerere himself. It is a long video, but will allow only a few minutes, and it will be important just to have a feel of Nyerere himself. Technical people, please.
Next, Charlene Hunter-Galt concludes her series on the origin of the crises in Central Africa. She talks with Julius Nyerere, a key figure in efforts to bring peace to the region.
K. Nyerere, the 74-year-old former president of Tanzania and one of Africa's most respected elder statesmen, led his country to independence in 1961 and presided over it until 1985. Searching for a development path for his dirt-poor country, he introduced a governing concept that was meant to meld socialism with traditional tribal government. He called it Ujamaa, Swahili for familyhood. Through benign one-party rule and emphasizing racial and tribal harmony and moralistic self-sacrifice, Nyerere unified Tanzania from a far-flung collection of tribes into a nation. But the country faltered. After Nyerere stepped down from power in 1985, the country was in shambles, and the socialist experiment was viewed as a failure. Nyerere resigned voluntarily after serving 4 terms. He handed over power to a constitutionally chosen successor, one of the few peaceful transitions in a region dominated by military governments and coup d'etat. Neighboring Burundi and Rwanda have not been so lucky. Since their independence in 1962, both have been torn by fighting between factions from the majority Hutu tribe and the minority Tutsis. Millions on both sides have been killed, most recently from the Hutu genocide against Tutsis in Rwanda in 1994. that produced waves of refugees, also in the millions, that spilled into Tanzania, Zaire, Uganda, and other border states. The minority Tutsis have now regained control of Rwanda and have called for reconciliation as thousands of Hutus have begun returning to the ravaged country. In Burundi, a military coup by Tutsi leader Pierre Buyoya is still in effect, despite a call by leaders from the region to return to democratic rule. Julius Nyerere has come out of retirement and at recent summits in Arusha, Tanzania, and elsewhere has been involved.
Understand as deeply the roots, the evolution, the nature of the conflict in the Great Lakes as he does. Very few leaders have ideas about what to do about it as he does, and very few leaders have the influence that he has within that sub-region.
We met Nyerere during a recent visit to New York and asked first about Rwanda and the prospects for reconciliation there.
It's not going to be easy to prevent people who have lost members of their families to want revenge. This cannot be prevented. And so some revenge killings here and there might take place, but the government itself is going to work extremely hard to reconcile the people. And my hope is that the international community will help them in two ways. One, that we do get hold of the perpetrators of the genocide and put them on trial under the International Tribunal in Arusha. I hope we do that. Some of these people are being harbored in the capital, in the capitals of a large number of our countries. We should hand them over. Secondly, we should help the government with resources. And that government is going to try and reconcile their country.
Are African governments in countries where these militia people are hiding now or prepared to hand them over?
Well, so far they're not handing them over. Some are in Africa, some are not in Africa, some are in Europe, and it's just possible some may be outside Europe. We all have a responsibility to hand over these people. This is an essential element in the reconciliation of
want now to invite the Secretary General, East African Community, Honorable Dr. Peter Mathuki, to talk to us, to make his remarks. And because it becomes heavier going up, I request the SG to welcome the RC to make his remarks. Honorable SG.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It must be near. Okay. Thank you very much to our chief guest, the Honorable John Mwongela, Regional Commissioner, Arusha Region, the Honorable Charles Makongoro Nyerere, the RC, but also my good friend, let me confess. And it is truly I miss you. You confess, I can confess that. The Right Lordship Judge President of the East African Court of Justice, Nestor Kayombera, who is here with us. We have Dr. Warren, Acadia, and the entire team, fraternity of Acadia University.
We have our ambassadors who are here from the partner states, and thank you very much for coming. We have our youth. Youth have not had anyone recognize you. Where is our youth in East Africa? The future is now. Don't be told the future is tomorrow. The future is now, going forward from this event. So thank you very much for coming. We have the representatives of the private sector who are here. We have the civil society organizations. We have the vice chancellors from our institutions. We have our own heads of institutions of the East African community who are here. We have Ambassador Cheluget himself, who served as a deputy secretary general of this community, and now he's been serving at the COMESA in the same capacity. And in all of this very important occasion, it is important because all of us, you are lucky to associate yourself with Mwalimu Nyerere. You know, some of us were in school when we were growing up. We used to read about Mwalimu Nyerere. And so when I had an opportunity to come to the Parliament of East African Community, when I met his son, I got scared. How can I come close to the son of a great man like Nyerere? And so he told me, don't worry. I know you're a poor boy from a poor background, but you are lucky to be associated with me. And so Makongoro and I became very close friends. And there are some few things we agreed with Makongoro Nyerere, that once we'll be in a position to make a difference in this East Africa, we shall make a difference. I hope you still keep that, because that was our secret. And we felt our secret would be making East Africa borderless, making all the countries of East Africa borderless, making it one East Africa. And that is the spirit that Mwalimu Nyerere himself stood for. He stood for a united Africa. He stood for one, actually, East Africa. And when I was lucky at some point to hoist the flag of East Africa, you remember we did that with Makongoro in the homes of Mama Nyerere. We did that in the homes of Mama Ngina. We did that in the home of Maria Obote. And that was to also appreciate the role of women in this community. And we had to do that. And therefore, the subject today is relaunching the Mwalimu Nyerere Center for Peace. You know, the East African community is growing. Recently, we admitted the Democratic Republic of Congo as the 7th partner state of the East African community. And as we speak, we have just had a mission that has come from Somalia, because now we're in the process of admitting Somalia to be the 8th member of the East African community. And therefore, that tells you the need for peace in our region going forward. That we cannot take our seats back and relax, but we must, all of us, contribute towards peace, because that is what Mwalimu stood for. And I want to thank the Acadia fraternity for having taken time when I met you a few months ago with Ambassador Cheluget. You assured me that you are ready to partner with the East African community to take the dream of Mwalimu Nyerere forward. And therefore, one of the things that made me really take this forward is when I came to Parliament and I met the son. And I didn't see anything in the compound that sounded like Mwalimu Nyerere dream should be taken forward. And therefore, I said, one day when I will get an opportunity, I will do that. And that is what motivates me to strengthen this center, because we all know that Mwalimu Nyerere stood for peace. And I want to carry that forward. On whether you went to God walking or driving a bicycle or a big Benz, we are very lucky as East Africa. I am telling you that we have Mwalimu Nyerere to have been born in East Africa. That's something we must appreciate. Everyone in this world will want to be associated with the Mwalimu Nyerere because of the ideals that he stood for. And if it was not for him, possibly we would not be having an Africa that it looks the way it is today. And therefore, East African community. And looking at unity of Africa. I remember Mwalimu Nyerere felt, why can't we strengthen Africa by strengthening regional economic blocks? He first felt we should strengthen East Africa, we should strengthen Southern Africa and other blocks as we go to Africa. And those are the ideals. And I'm very happy and honored to have the team of that stood to manage the affairs of Mwalimu Nyerere Center. So, mzee, asante sana. Asante, tunashukuru sana. Tunakushukuru sana. Na rafiki yangu pia, who was the private secretary wa Mwalimu Nyerere. We want to thank you because of holding those values. And I would want at an appropriate time to invite you in my office so that we sit down together and see how we can drive this further. Because we must strengthen the spirit of Mwalimu Nyerere Center. But this center, in many ways, is very important. Not only does it draw inspiration from the great scholar Mwalimu himself, but it is one of the things of realizing the realities that we are facing in Africa, the need for peace, because that is very important. We may be wanting to say now the East African community with 300 million people, with a geographic coverage of about 5 million square kilometers, the ease of doing business. But we cannot do business in an environment that has no peace. And therefore, peace is critical. So I think ourselves as the East African community, it is important that we feel it's important that we start building capacity of the young people in partnership with Acadia and others, universities, our own universities in the region, so that we can see how we can build that capacity going forward. It is the youth who will be the drivers of this community. It is the youth who will take the dream of the community forward. It is the youth that will drive the unity of Africa. It is the youth that will see how Africa and the rest of the world work together going forward. And therefore, the youth, this institution belongs to yourselves. Take advantage of this and build the skills and of yourselves on how to promote peace in our continent, in our region. And that is why, one of the reasons why we are putting this, strengthening this center. It is for yourselves. Take advantage of this. We'll be working out programs with our partners to see how to sustain and bring out programs that support yourselves. We are going to have scholarships and fellowships coming from all over countries of East Africa to participate in this center. So it's upon yourself to take advantage of this. And that's why we are here with our partners. And therefore I want to challenge the University Council. Professor, I know your capacity and I know the capacities of our universities. In terms of sustaining this institution going forward, it's very important yourselves, with our universities in the region, working with our partners to see how we make this center sustainable. And I can assure you, and so long I'm the secretary of the East African community, it has to succeed either way. It has to succeed. Because how can we have that big name fail? How now? And the son is here watching. You will not even allow. And therefore, the entire world is watching how fragile our region is. And some of these efforts that we are making today by moving forward, I think that is what Mwalimu Nyerere stood for. I remember when we met the first ladies, founding ladies of the community, they told us they used to meet in their homes. I remember they used to tell us, if you go to Nyerere's home, they used to meet in the house of Mwalimu. There never used to be all these luxurious halls and stuff like that. When they go to Nairobi, they used to go to Kenyatta's house. And so the first ladies used to cook for them food so that they can think about East Africa. And so is Obote. And that is why in our small way, if you go around, you're going to see some halls we call Mama Nyerere, you're going to see Mama Ngina, you're going to see Mama Obote. And the idea is also to appreciate the role that they played in strengthening our own community. And therefore, friends, I want to thank you very much for coming. Let us walk this journey together. I want to assure you that this will be a success, and all of you coming, and our ambassadors representing our countries and our partners who are here, let us walk this journey together. I want to thank you, the chief guest, for taking time when I was in Bujumbura on the heads of states, they committed, United Republic of Tanzania committed of their support to ensure that the programs of the center succeed. And so when I saw you come, obviously they send the best. One, you are my friend, I'm lucky. But two, I know what you mean, what it comes to matters of peace, but also business in the region. We can't do business when there's no peace. And I must confess, for us who are in Arusha, we enjoy the peace we have because of yourself. And you've been very close friend of this community. So they send the best, and I want to thank you. And also pass our regards to the government of the United Republic of Tanzania for their commitment and to ensure that they continue support to the community. But now that we have this center, we count on you so that all the programs that come along in the community indeed support our young people, but promote peace and security in the region. I want to thank you, all of you, for coming. I know it was a short notice, but in a very special way, I want to thank my good sister, Dr. Irene Isaka. If you can just be standing with your team, the organizing team. This is the team that was involved in supporting this, organizing this. To be honest with you, let me tell you my role in all these things you see. It's just reading this speech, which they have done themselves. It is them who have done everything, including the speech that I'm making. And therefore, I want to thank you. I want to thank them for really that spirit, because that should be the spirit, and that should be the way to go. So I know from tomorrow now, you're going to see a lot of activity around the center. Let us now drive and take advantage of this. And that is the commitment. The heads of state themselves, they are aware we are here today to relaunch this. And that is, I'm sure, something that, and we'll be putting this in our report of our even council of ministers, so that we make sure that the institution is properly anchored within the framework of the community, and so that in terms of even sustainable budgeting, etc. So it's my happiness, it's my joy that we are here today to commemorate, but also to launch this center named of a great man who comes from East Africa. Thank you and most welcome to Arusha. Asanteni sana.
Thank you, SG. Yeah, I was reminding you of your role.
You would have gotten a warning letter. And you know the CTC of the community, Kafumbe, Dr. Kafumbe is keenly listening, so that when we make some of these mistakes, and thank you very much, Kafumbe, if you can just be upstanding. This is the attorney of the community. He's just led a mission. He's come from Mogadishu leading a team to do a verification to admit Somalia. So I want to thank you very much for that great work. And therefore, with those very many words that are spoken, it's my humble duty to welcome a friend and a brother, the chief guest of today, Honorable John Mongera, who is the regional commissioner and who is a friend of this community and a friend of the Nyerere Center. Please most welcome, Mheshimiwa. Karibu sana.
Honorable Secretary General of the EAC, Dr. Peter Mathuki, Honorable Makongoro Nyerere, the Right Honorable Speaker of the IALA, Your Lordship, the Judge President of the East African Court of Justice, Excellencies, Ambassadors, and diplomatic community, distinguished guests from Acadia University and American Graduate School, Paris, distinguished development partners and international organizations, distinguished delegates from the EAC partner states, mzee wangu mzee Butiku, Mzee Kasori, tambua uwepo wenu. Distinguished Vice Chancellors and students present. Professor Warren from Acadia University. Heads of the EAC institutions. Development partners present. EAC staff. Members of the media. Ladies and gentlemen. I'll be reading the speech supposed to be presented by Honorable Stagomena Tax, our Minister for International Cooperation and the East African Community, who had asked me to help her do this role. And I'll read it as it has been presented to me. I'm delighted to be here this morning to witness and officiate the relaunch of the East African Community Nyerere Center for Peace Research. The reactivation of this regional center for peace research is a laudable initiative which has come at a time when the community is growing amidst increasing and deliberate efforts to establish and sustain viable peace and conflict resolution mechanisms. The center is well aligned to the strong legacy of Mwalimu Nyerere, the first president of the United Republic of Tanzania, who is recognized to have breathed, lived, and walked peace. Mwalimu Nyerere was a peacemaker, peace builder, and a peace enforcer who employed peaceful political means to obtain independence for the Tanganyika without shedding a pint of blood. He went further to unite with the People's Republic of Zanzibar to form the United Republic of Tanzania and anchored it as an inclusive society without racial, religious, ethnic, and tribal divides that existed and perpetuated by the decades of colonialism. Peace in Tanzania was not enough to Mwalimu Nyerere. He believed peace and freedom must coexist, and that freedom and peace in Tanzania would not be enough if other countries of the continent were not free and not at peace. For that reason, Mwalimu Nyerere was instrumental in the formation of the Organization of the African Unity, OAU, in 1963. Among the greatest contributions he made was to pioneer the principle which to the larger extent helped Africa to evade conflicts that would arise from the border disputes and territorial claims which were a result of colonial legacy. The other was the establishment of the OAU Liberation Committee, which presided over as its chairman, and Dar es Salaam became its headquarters. As the chair of this important committee, Mwalimu Nyerere provided leadership, moral, political, and where necessary, training and material support to the freedom fighters in the frontline states. The venture that resulted into liberation of many former colonies in Africa through negotiation than in bloodshed. The last frontier was the majority rule in the South Africa. Mwalimu Nyerere thought Pan-Africanism was indispensable if we are to achieve a peaceful and stable continent. That is why prior to the independence of Tanganyika, Mwalimu was contemplating delaying to wait for Kenya and Uganda so that as to unite together to form an East African Federation. It is therefore a joyous moment today that as per aspirations of Mwalimu Nyerere, the work of this Center for Peace Research will greatly propagate peace and freedom agenda in the East African community region and beyond. The partnership and support granted by Acadia University and the American Graduate School in Paris is highly applauded. It is, however, paramount that the East African community puts in place effective measures to ensure the future sustainability of this center by partner states and through the effective engagement of academic and research institutions and other stakeholders in the region. Ladies and gentlemen, well-coordinated independent research, open dialogue, actionable ideas on peace and security issues are critical ingredients in informing decision-making processes by policy makers and leaders. Focused capacity building and nurturing academic resources within the region will create a pool of thinkers with deeper understanding of the status of regional peace and security. Peace and security are prerequisites for regional development and integration. We must therefore be intentional in building capacities to secure an environment that is stable and peaceful for an enhanced human security, sustainable peace, and conflict resolution mechanisms in the region. This will contribute towards promotion of peaceful and prosperous East Africa, which is a key priority area for the EAC. It is no secret that academicians and researchers play a great role in providing actionable ideas and supporting evidence-based policy making. The success of the Nyerere Center for Peace Research will therefore highly contribute to the East African integration process. This will, however, require regional commitment and collaboration within the diverse stakeholders to create synergy in the generation and utilization of the said knowledge. I therefore challenge all the stakeholders to join hands and contribute to the growth and sustainability of this noble center for the benefit of integration development in the East Africa. Distinguished delegates, globally, there are increasing threats and challenges to peace and security, which our region is a step to it. Sorry for the translation, because I have to get it from my Sukuma language to Swahili, then to English. If not mitigated and addressed in informed ways, such threats may compromise the main fabric of our nations and community. It is commendable that the EAC and its partners have recognized the need to mitigate possible threats to peace through capacity building, research, and exchange programs. The United Republic of Tanzania welcomes the idea of relaunching the Nyerere Center for Peace Research, and this will go a long way in strengthening regional integration and development through improved human capacities, research, and exchange in the region and beyond. The center contributes to efficient and effectiveness in designing deliberate measures to address and counter any threats to peace and security in the region. Government and the people of Tanzania, I wish to take this opportunity to extend our sincere appreciation to the EAC for relaunching of the Nyerere Center for Peace Research, that we take it as a great gesture of honoring the legacy of Mwalimu Nyerere, the founding father and the first president of the United Republic of Tanzania, who believed that all human beings are equal. Mwalimu was a dedicated Pan-Africanist, and servant leader who spent most of his political career promoting unity, peace, and security, and not just on the African continent alone, but in the third world as well. I therefore call upon the EAC to actively engage all stakeholders to effectively implement the growth and development of the center, the relevant EAC institutions and research, universities, think tanks, policymakers, and development partners should also join hands in this effort. As I conclude, I once again take this opportunity to congratulate the EAC Secretary General and the partners from the Acadia University and the American Graduate School for reinitiating this noble idea. We look forward to having a robust center for peace research that will be producing viable outputs from the independent research, open dialogue, actionable ideas via policy briefs to promote sustainable peace and security in the region. Finally, I would like to welcome all visitors to explore the United Republic of Tanzania, specifically Arusha, which is known as the safari capital of Tanzania and even the East Africa. It is Arusha is connected to a number of tourist attractions, Mount Kilimanjaro, the Ngorongoro, Serengeti, and a number of other national parks. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my honor to officially relaunch the East African Community Nyerere Center for Peace and Research. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That was good. Is a climax, and only that Honorable Makongoro was whispering, why didn't you add his area again to people? You know, as I sit here, I'm reflecting on this, that a man, Nyerere, within these same 50, 60 years we live or we have lived, with him, within that period, what impact he had made on society, on the World Club, is just amazing. That when you are seated where you are seated now, think about it. What difference are you making in your own way? Honestly, you must think about this. There is a story where a monkey was hearing stories of lions being powerful in the forest, elephants being big, etc. And the monkey wondered, where am I myself? No attention to me. The monkey decided to carry an old log of a tree, and he kept on moving in the forest. And then everyone started saying, did you see that monkey? Did you see that monkey? It is carrying a log of a tree. And the monkey came to on again in the forest. Please, try to do something to impact on society before you leave. Time will come. Like Nyerere, do your part. And they are with Nyerere, and they met their impact. And on this occasion, let me not rush. I can rush and I get a shokos. It's okay. You have to know where your bread is. And on this occasion, the Secretary General would like to honor Muse Kasori and Muse Butiku for the role they have played, for being with Nyerere, for continuing to push the philosophy, the thoughts of Nyerere in one way or the other. I will therefore invite the two wazee, muje hapa mbele hapa, kwa hii red carpet hapa, mmekuwa mkitembea kando kando, kucha hapa mbele ya Secretary General to honor you for the roles you have played. Please here, kanyaga kidogo kwa hii red one. Umeenda hapo juu, sasa endeni hapo juu. Kanyageni hiyo. Mmefanya kazi.
Mheshimiwa mgeni rasmi, you know, Mwalimu Nyerere is watching us. He's here with us. The spirit is here. And so he wants to know whether we can also recognize the people that he works with. So in a very special way, mzee, naomba kwa heshima kuu sana, kwa niaba ya wote wako hapa, lakini kwa niaba ya wanajumuiya wote Afrika Mashariki, kusema ile kazi mlifanya mkuchangia pakubwa na kumshikilia mzee wetu, kazi ya muhimu. Sasa rasmi hii ni mabalozi wa jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki. Kwa hivyo naomba nikuweke kama ishara.
Asante sana. Msalimie mgeni. Msalimie mheshimiwa hapa. Tutafuata. Mzee, asante sana. Ningesikia hotuba yako. Lakini sasa kwa vile umefika hapa, nasema ile mchango wako kwa kuwa na mwalimu wetu, mzee wetu, zaidi to continue consulting mambo mengi. Wewe ni balozi rasmi wa jumuiya yetu. Asante sana. Kwa hivyo I think this is an important photo. Salimie. Mheshimiwa, remember the pay appeal. You are lucky. Yeah, you are lucky. Ya kwanza wewe ukanipa, ya pili sasa hivi wewe sasa. Very important. Haujamwingisha kwa nini? Wewe ni kiongozi. Sasa hongera sana mheshimiwa. Hongera sana. Balozi wa balozi wa hapo vipi?
Mheshimiwa Katibu Mkuu Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki, mgeni rasmi na wageni wote mliokaribishwa hapa, kwa niaba ya wenzangu, sikutazamia kwamba tutapata heshima hii, na labda nirudi kwa Charles alivyosema Makongoro, leo wote tuna bahati. Tuna bahati ya kupata heshima hii na tunaikubali. Naamini tunaikubali na tukushukuru sana, na tukuhakikishie tutakuwa mabalozi wema, wazuri, na tutaendelea katika hali yetu ya uzee kushirikiana nawe na wengine wote kudumisha kazi mnayofanya na kuhakikisha kwamba Afrika Mashariki na Afrika na dunia inaishi katika hali ya amani. Asante sana.
Thank you, Secretary General, for that recognition and honoring of great old men. We now move to another sector, but before I do that, let me again welcome the director who has been the chair of all these. Again, to recognize a few visitors, and then I'll go to the last part. Director.
Guests of honor, I again have received other members or invitee guests that have been coming. We have our development partners, and it's important to recognize their presence. You have USAID, and we have International Organization for Migration. You can just wave where you are, and GIZ, our very close partners. We also recognize Youth Technical Advisor, and also we have another head of leadership and governance, director of You Lead Africa, Ivan Yatumbe. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Now, there is something we have to do, and particularly the chief guest. We have to go to Nyerere Center itself. And as it was said, that is where Mwalimu himself used to transact business. We are going to go to Nyerere Center, so symbolically for the chief guest to open the door, to cut something and open the door so that we can start transacting business in that place. And this is how we are going to move. Okay? We listen very, very carefully how we are going to move. The chief guest and professor and the SG will go first. Getting out of the door, of course, we will follow them. Then the invited guests here, the ambassadors, the dignitaries, will follow. Then the students and the staff will follow behind. The place is not all that big to accommodate everyone. So when we reach there, the staff and the students may stand on this side to allow the chief guest and the team and the dignitaries to be near the door. Okay, there are a number of activities there. One is to, is that plate? To cut the ribbon. Okay, fine. To cut the ribbon. I've been corrected there, so we just go and cut the ribbon. We open the door, and it's symbolic that the center is now live. I've explained how we move. The brass band will be ahead of us, playing as we go. After finishing that, we will have a photo session, and again, we will have the chief guest, Professor and SG, and we will call the people who will stand behind them for the photos when we are at the photo session. There is something important here. It is called lunch. I have to talk about it before we go, because once we go outside there, my powers will be reducing. So I have to use them now. When we are through, we are coming back for lunch. The chief guests and the front table and the dignitaries invited here, we will go in the restaurant. And I'm lucky, I'll be in the restaurant also. The staff and the students, you will go to the tent. The tent is good. Don't worry about it. It's well prepared. Okay, so that is how it's going to be. Okay? Of course, on the program, there are other issues, Acadia and the the meeting with the academic institutions, that is now out of my control. That is why I was worried about my powers. They are reducing. That is not under me now. Yes, Development Partners Roundtable, again, not under me. Now, at this juncture, let me issue the last commands. We get out, then we move to the center. Isn't it? Director, please. It also feels nice, eh?
Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa ustawi. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane. Umoja ni nguvu, umoja ni nguvu. Sisi wana wa ikanda Afrika Mashariki, twajivunia sisi umoja wetu, twategemea maendeleo kwa mwendo wa kasi. Umoja ni nguvu na utengano ni udhaifu, twataka tuwe mfano kwa mataifa mengine, eneo letu liwe tulivu kisiasa na kiuchumi. Jamii zetu zikuze biashara, mipaka ya nchi zetu ifunguliwe kikamilifu. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa ustawi. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane. Umoja ni nguvu, umoja ni nguvu, yeah.
Tunafaa kujivunia jumuiya yetu, ni jambo nzuri mpaka kwa vizazi vijavyo.
Tuko na maono na nia na raia wenye uwezo, tuko na viongozi wenye hekima na busara.
Tujipe changamoto ya kufikia maendeleo ya kudumu. Miundombinu za nchi zetu ziundwe kwa hali ya kisasa.
Jamii zetu sasa zikuze biashara, mipaka za nchi zetu zifunguliwe kikamilifu. Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa ustawi. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane. Umoja ni nguvu, umoja ni nguvu. Viongozi wetu washikane bega kwa bega, na sisi raia tuko nyuma yenu, hatua kwa hatua. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa ustawi. Tuzingatie umoja wetu Afrika Mashariki, kote ni nyumbani, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane. Kuteli tujenge kanda yetu Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa ustawi. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane. Umoja ni nguvu, umoja ni nguvu. Sisi wana wa ikanda Afrika Mashariki, twajivunia sisi umoja wetu, twategemea maendeleo kwa mwendo wa kasi. Umoja ni nguvu na utengano ni udhaifu, twataka tuwe mfano kwa mataifa mengine. Eneo letu liwe tulivu kisiasa na kiuchumi. Jamii zetu siku za biashara, mipaka ya nchi zetu ifunguliwe kikamilifu. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa ustawi. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane. Umoja ni nguvu, umoja ni nguvu, yeah.
Tunafaa kujivunia jumuiya yetu, ni jambo nzuri mpaka kwa vizazi vijavyo.
Tuko na maono na nia na raia wenye uwezo, tuko na viongozi wenye hekima na busara.
Tujipe changamoto ya kufikia maendeleo ya kudumu. Miundombinu za nchi zetu ziundwe kwa hali ya kisasa.
Jamii zetu sasa siku za biashara, mipaka za nchi zetu zifunguliwe kikamilifu.
Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa ustawi. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane. Umoja ni nguvu, umoja ni nguvu. Viongozi wetu washikane bega kwa bega, na sisi raia tuko nyuma yenu, hatua kwa hatua. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa ustawi. Tuzingatie umoja wetu Afrika Mashariki, kote ni nyumbani, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane. Kuteli tutenge kanda yetu Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa ustawi. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane. Umoja ni nguvu, umoja ni nguvu. Kuteli tutenge kanda yetu, umoja ni nguvu. Kote ni nyumbani, kuteli tutenge. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa ustawi. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane. Umoja ni nguvu, Sisi wana wa ikanda Afrika Mashariki, twajivunia sisi umoja wetu, twategemea maendeleo kwa mwendo wa kasi. Umoja ni nguvu na utengano ni udhaifu, twataka tuwe mfano kwa mataifa mengine. Eneo letu liwe tulivu kisiasa na kiuchumi, jamii zetu zikuze biashara, mipaka ya nchi zetu ifunguliwe kikamilifu. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa usawi. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane, umoja ni nguvu, umoja ni nguvu, yeah.
Tunafaa kujivunia jumuiya yetu, ni jambo nzuri mpaka kwa vizazi vijavyo.
Tuko na maono na nia na raia wenye uwezo, tuko na viongozi wenye hekima na busara.
Tujipe changamoto ya kufikia maendeleo ya kudumu. Miundombinu za nchi zetu ziundwe kwa hali ya kisasa.
Jamii zetu sasa zikuze biashara, mipaka za nchi zetu zifunguliwe kikamilifu. Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa usawi. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane, umoja ni nguvu, umoja ni nguvu. Viongozi wetu washikane bega kwa bega, na sisi raia tuko nyuma yenu, hatua kwa hatua. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa ustawi. Tuzingatie umoja wetu Afrika Mashariki, kote ni nyumbani, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane, kuteli tutenge kanda yetu Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa ustawi. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, palipo na nia, kwa hivyo tushikane, umoja ni nguvu, umoja ni nguvu, kuteli tutenge kanda yetu, umoja ni nguvu, kote ni nyumbani, kuteli tutenge. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa ustawi. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane, umoja ni nguvu, umoja ni nguvu. Sisi wana wa ikanda Afrika Mashariki, twajivunia sisi umoja wetu, twategemea maendeleo kwa mwendo wa kasi. Umoja ni nguvu na utengano ni udhaifu, twataka tuwe mfano kwa
mipaka ya nchi zetu ifunguliwe kikamilifu. Jumuiya yetu, jumuiya yetu, Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa usawi. Jumuiya yetu, Afrika Mashariki, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane, umoja ni nguvu, umoja ni nguvu, yeah.
Tunafaa kujivunia jumuiya yetu, ni jambo nzuri mpaka kwa vizazi vijavyo.
Tuko na maono na nia na raia wenye uwezo, tuko na viongozi wenye hekima na busara.
Tujipe changamoto ya kufikia maendeleo ya kudumu. Miundombinu za nchi zetu ziundwe kwa hali ya kisasa.
Jamii zetu sasa siku za biashara, mipaka za nchi zetu zifunguliwe kikamilifu.
Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa usawi. Jumuiya yetu, Afrika Mashariki, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane, umoja ni nguvu, umoja ni nguvu. Viongozi wetu washikane bega kwa bega, na sisi raia tuko nyuma yenu, hatua kwa hatua. Jumuiya yetu, Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa usawi. Tuzingatie umoja wetu, Afrika Mashariki, wote ni nyumbani, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane, kuteli tutenge kanda yetu. Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa usawi. Jumuiya yetu, Afrika Mashariki, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane, umoja ni nguvu, umoja ni nguvu, kuteli tutenge kanda yetu. Umoja ni nguvu, kote ni nyumbani, kuteli tutenge. Jumuiya yetu, Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa ustawi. Jumuiya yetu, Afrika Mashariki, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane, umoja ni nguvu, umoja ni nguvu. Sisi wana wa ikanda Afrika Mashariki, twajivunia sisi umoja wetu, twategemea maendeleo kwa mwendo wa kasi. Umoja ni nguvu na utengano ni udhaifu. Twataka tuwe mfano kwa mataifa mengine, eneo letu liwe tulivu kisiasa na kiuchumi. Jamii zetu siku za biashara, mipaka ya nchi zetu ifunguliwe kikamilifu. Jumuiya yetu, Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa usawi. Jumuiya yetu, Afrika Mashariki, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo
baraka kwa vizazi vijavyo.
Tuko na maono na nia na raia wenye uwezo. Tuko na viongozi wenye hekima na busara.
Tujipe changamoto ya kufikia maendeleo ya kudumu. Miundombinu za nchi zetu ziundwe kwa hali ya kisasa.
Jamii zetu sasa siku za biashara. Mipaka za nchi zetu zifunguliwe kikamilifu.
Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa ustawi. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane. Umoja ni nguvu, umoja ni nguvu. Viongozi wetu washikane bega kwa bega, na sisi raia tuko nyuma yenu, hatua kwa hatua. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa ustawi. Tuzingatie umoja wetu Afrika Mashariki, kote ni nyumbani, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane. Kuteli tutenge kanda yetu. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa ustawi. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane, umoja ni nguvu, umoja ni nguvu. Sisi wana wa ikanda Afrika Mashariki, twajivunia sisi umoja wetu, twategemea maendeleo kwa mwendo wa kasi. Umoja ni nguvu na utengano ni udhaifu, twataka tuwe mfano kwa mataifa mengine, eneo letu liwe tulivu kisiasa na kiuchumi, jamii zetu zikuze biashara, mipaka ya nchi zetu ifunguliwe kikamilifu. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa usawi. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane, umoja ni nguvu, umoja ni nguvu, yeah.
Tunafaa kujivunia jumuiya yetu, ni jambo nzuri mpaka kwa vizazi vijavyo.
Tuko na maono na nia na raia wenye uwezo, tuko na viongozi wenye hekima na busara.
Tujipe changamoto ya kufikia maendeleo ya kudumu. Miundombinu za nchi zetu ziundwe kwa hali ya kisasa.
Jamii zetu sasa zikuze biashara, mipaka za nchi zetu zifunguliwe kikamilifu.
Afrika Mashariki, umoja na amani ni mwanzo wa ustawi. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane, umoja ni nguvu, umoja ni nguvu. Viongozi wetu washikane
Call upon the ambassadors from cut the ribbon. Of course, the photos will be taken, also professor, etc. Once you cut, you enter and you... Okay, at this juncture, I would invite you to come closer with those scissors. And after we cut the ribbon, we will come and cut the cake. Very good, very good, very good. Representative of partner states, please come closer. Professor, hold somewhere. Hold somewhere here. Just hold the hand like this. Aha, there it is. There it goes. There it goes. Photographers, you have a few minutes before I change my mind. Yeah. Beautiful cake on this occasion. Very good, very good. Very good.
Nyerere was so
Yeah.
sweet.
Thank you very much. Those ones who can share out the cake, please. Symbolically, we are happy, so share out the cake. The cake, we will move inside, again starting with the chief guest. With the chief guest.
Very important. Very important.
Okay. Okay, okay, test the case. Cameraman, please hold it, take it to the mouth together.
Kenya, and then you have Rwanda.
Uganda.
No, I'm using the alphabet. I'm using this.
Okay, I think in the interest of time and the space.
Mchana amani ni mwanzo wa ustawi. Jumuiya yetu Afrika Mashariki, palipo na nia pana njia, kwa hivyo tushikane. Umoja ni nguvu, umoja ni nguvu. Sisi wana wa ikanda Afrika Mashariki, twajivunia sisi umoja wetu, twategemea maendeleo.
leaders have the influence that it has in society.
We met Nyerere during a recent visit to New York and asked first about Rwanda and the prospects for reconciliation there.
It's not going to be easy to prevent people who have lost members of their families to want revenge. This cannot be prevented. And so some revenge killings here and there might take place, but the government itself is going to work extremely hard to reconcile the people. And my hope is that the international community will help them in two ways. One, that we do get hold of the perpetrators of the genocide and put them on trial under the International Tribunal in Arusha. I hope we do that. Some of these people are being harbored in the capital, in the capitals of a large number of our countries. We should hand them over. Secondly, we should help the government with resources. And that government is going to try and reconcile their country.
Are African governments in countries where these militia people are hiding now or prepared to hand them over?
Well, so far they're not handing them over. Some are in Africa, some are not in Africa, some are in Europe, and it's just possible some may be outside Europe. We all have a responsibility to hand over these people. This is an essential element in the reconciliation of the peoples of Rwanda. I hope that will happen.
What is the main problem in Burundi? You've been most intimately involved there yourself.
Well, the main problem is a problem of power. In Rwanda, you had a majority in power. You have these divisions called Tutsi, Hutu, and in Rwanda you had the Hutu in power, and the minority Tutsi excluded. In Burundi, it was the other way around. You had the minority Tutsi in power, and the majority excluded. And this is the problem we have to deal with. That power, really, virtually since independence, has been in the hands of the minority supported by the army. And that is really basically the problem we are dealing with.
What would the solution be?
The solution will be a reconciliation. We will have to negotiate a system under which both the majority and the minority feel reasonably happy.
What's the biggest obstacle?
Well, the biggest obstacle at present is that those who are in power, the minority is in power. They are like one riding on the back of a cycle.